Thanks for joining me again today. Today is January 25th as we're learning to read through the Bible together. You should be reading in Genesis chapter 43 and 44, Psalm 24, as well as Galatians chapter 1. Yesterday, we talked about how God finally, it seems like from Joseph's perspective, right? That God had finally remembered him. He raised him up to do a mighty thing. He saved Egypt, and we actually find out at the end of our reading that he also was saved to save his family. That the whole drought had taken over the entire region of Egypt and the surrounding areas, and that they all would have perished from this famine. They needed food, and Joseph ended up being raised up by God at the right moment to save not only the Egyptian people, but his entire family as well. And we talked about the importance of waiting on the timing of the Lord, and I hope that was a challenge to you. Today, we learn about something else that happens in Joseph's life. We learn that his family comes, they get some food, and they go back. That was at the end of yesterday's reading. They go back to Israel, and they're eating food with their families, and they run out of the supplies they had bought. And then, so Jacob, also known as Israel, is like, hey, why don't you go back to Egypt, buy more stuff, and come back? And the brothers look at each other, and they're a little worried. Because you see, the brothers had sold Joseph into slavery. They had no idea that Joseph was the guy they were talking about. It had been a lot of time. But that guy in Egypt had asked about if they had any other brothers. Say, like, yeah, we have one more little brother. And he said, next time you come, you have to bring everybody or I'm not selling food to you. And so they tell their dad this, and Israel is, Israel is worried. He's like, why would you tell them that you have another brother? You already lost one brother. Ouch, right? That was kind of harsh, but it was true. You've already lost one brother, he died. Now I'm going to lose this one. Why would you do that? You're going to bring ruin on my family, is what Jacob says. But they ended up having to do it because they needed food. So they took Benjamin, Joseph's younger brother, back with them. And Joseph tests his brothers because he wants to see, do they really have a change of heart? Joseph's not trying to be mean. He's not trying to push his own agenda on them, but he wants to know, like, do you really have a change of heart? Have you actually changed? Are you still living in sin? Are you still living in the lie that you told our dad about me? That I had been killed by beasts? And what happens is they hide a silver cup in the sack that they give Benjamin. And then Joseph sends them on their way to go home, and then he sends his guards after him. He says, someone stole a silver cup? And then they look through all the things, and the older brother's like, no one would have done this. You can put us in prison, whatever, we didn't do it. And they get to Benjamin, and they realize the silver cup's in there. And the brothers, when Joseph was a kid, would have said, throw that kid under the bus, we don't like him. You can take him, we don't care. But this time, they had a change of heart. And they said, we lost one brother already. We can't lose another one. It would kill our father. Take us instead. And what we see in this moment is that the brothers stop living the lies. They stop living the lie and start actually being sacrificially loving. They realize what they did was wrong. And that's what Joseph was looking for. Is there really forgiveness that's going on here? And I think sometimes we like to, in our life, pretend that we're Joseph. We're trying to figure out if all the people around us have really changed their hearts, or they really changed. But really, that's not really what this is about. Like, I want you to know, more times than not in life, you and I are just like the brothers. We're full of jealousy, bitterness, hate, and we have a tendency to hurt people for our own benefits because we want to be exalted. We want to be remembered. We want to be the ones that are loved the most, and we do it at the expense of others. And just like Joseph was looking for a change of heart in his brothers, God is looking for a change of heart in you and me. Are we tired of living that way? Because God has a love and a passion for you, for me, the whole world. There's enough love of God for everybody. Let's stop being so full of ourselves that we forget other people, that we take advantage of them at their expense for our own benefit. Love, as Jesus put it, love is to lay down their life for a friend. And then Jesus goes and dies on the cross. He says that to his disciples, and then he dies. He immediately shows what love is. It's this Greek word that Jesus uses called agape. And agape means sacrificial love. No greater love has one than this, to lay down their life for a friend. You and I have had the ultimate example of love laid down and laid out for us in Jesus' sacrifice on the cross. And then he turns around and says, you love like that. Stop taking advantage of people. Stop doing things at other people's expense for your own benefit. Lay down your life and love each other. I don't know where you're at today. I don't know what things are going to be in your path today, but choose to lay down your own ways and to pick up the ways of Jesus today. Choose to love. And until we see you tomorrow, church, you are sent.